I was talking to a man the other day, which honestly I try not ever to do because it just infuriates me when it comes to divorce and especially spousal support. But this is what this guy said. He said he had a buddy who was married for some 22 years. His wife stayed at home, and now he's paying her $43,000 a year in what he called penance for having lived such a privileged life as a stay-at-home mother for 22 years. And so now he has to pay, penance, restitution, whatever, to her for the next 22 years to make up for this privileged life that she had led. And I have a couple of things to say to that. Of course, it is a privilege, right, to be able to stay at home and to raise your children. It's a privilege to the husband who knows that his children are being well raised as much as it is a privilege to the wife. And it's something that has consequences, like all of our choices do, good and bad, intended and unintended. There's consequences. Every single choice we make has consequences. And so when these people decided to have one spouse stay at home, there were consequences. At this point, 22 years later, she doesn't have the work potential that she would have had she been working, but that's okay because these parties decided that what was most important was for her to be at home in their house, taking care of it, raising their children, and being the kind of wife and mother that they wanted. So now it's not a question of restitution, but it is a question of how much they've earned, which is obviously a lot if $43,000 is the amount of spousal support that he's paying. And that's a signal to me that this was a good partnership, or at least economically a good one, not a bad one. So when I get comments like that, and a man says something like, oh, she really took him to the cleaners, not only do I not believe that that's true, I mean, after all, if you average out $43,000 a year, it's only $3,500 a month, which I understand as a line item in a budget is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money to live off of. And it's not there, to punish anybody for any choices that were made. It's there to kind of help equalize the disparity in income. He shouldn't get to go on and live high on the hog while she suffers and lives at or below the poverty line. $3,500 a month isn't really a huge drop in the bucket, especially if she still has minor kids living at home, but it's something, and it helps equalize those incomes. I know that feels like a lot to pay to the man, but also to the woman, it's a literal lifeline. It's something that she's earned by the contributions that she made to the marriage, by raising their children, who are hopefully at this point healthy, happy, productive humans, even if they're still technically minors. And that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So if you're the wife, if you're asking for the support, I would do it with my head held high, because it is something that he owes you because of the contributions you made to the marriage, because of the support you provided him. He wouldn't have been able to go out and earn what he was earning, to work like he was working, to be promoted like he was promoted, if it wasn't for the sacrifices you made at home. And $43,000 a year tells me that your sacrifices really made a big economic impact on your family. So rather than saying you're some kind of drain or something, you look at what you've accomplished. You have stayed at home, you've raised these children in this fact pattern for a period of 22 years, which is wonderful. And obviously, economically, your marriage has been very successful, even if it ultimately didn't work out. So this is a good thing for all the parties involved, not a bad thing.